All right, everybody, it's Lauren here, and I have the pleasure of having Sarah Litt with me from Livi Beauty. She's one of their co-founders, and we're going to talk about our experiences as moms of challenging children who we love deeply. Thank you for being here, Sarah.
Of course. I'm so excited. Clearly, I have no expertise in childhood psychiatry, but I do have a strong-willed child.
Yep.
And I've been listening to you guys, but I'm so excited to share some crazy stories about my own experience, get your take. And then I have finally found a psychiatrist or a leader in the space that resonates with me. And
awesome.
It's been a journey.
Yeah. Yep.
So I want to read a little bit from him and just shout out that gentle parenting has not worked for me. Fuck around and find out hasn't worked for me. All of these trendy parenting styles have gone up in flames in my household.
Yep. Same here. Yep. Yeah. So you take the floor.
Okay. So after a particularly challenging soccer game with my whole family, I took to doing more research on how we can deal with our strong-willed kid. And I listened to a podcast where a mom was talking about someone who had helped her. Okay. And she actually played this excerpt of him talking, and I got chills listening because it is my life right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it. If this resonates with anyone, stick around. Okay. So his name is Kirk Martin. And he said, how many of you have had your more compliant child first and thought, we're such good parents. Let's have more. Then you have the strong-willed child. They tend to be very bright kids, although not always academically motivated. They're smart and good at arguing. They tend not to sleep because they're up all night thinking of ways to get out of doing stuff. And when they wake up in the morning, they have an agenda because they know what they like and what they don't like. And what they don't like is anything you want them to do. You'll spend their childhood saying this. If you would just do what I ask you to do, you would be done in 7 minutes. But you would rather argue for 7 hours or days or weeks or years and lose everything you own.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I read this, and then the next morning I woke up and my son literally was like, okay, mama, first we're going to do this, and then we're going to go to Target and buy the biggest Lego, and then we're going to go here, and then and I was like, can I have my coffee? I'm not ready for you.
Yep. And just so y'all know, Sarah texted me about Kirk Martin and his podcast, and I had kind of seen him a little bit on social media here and there, but I'd never listened to his podcast. And so I went and listened to it. If you are the parent of a strong-willed child, it really resonates. He is coming from a place of personal experience. He has a strong-willed child who is now an adult. So he has raised a strong-willed child. But everything that Kirk says that the parent is thinking while the kid's displaying these behaviors is so spot on. And Sarah recommended I reach out to this guy, and I was like, sure, I'll reach out, but there's no way he's going to respond because his podcast is pretty legit. And sure enough, he responded. He is so nice, and he is coming on my podcast in January, which I'm so excited about. So I have to thank you for that.
Oh, of course. I mean, it came out of a place of need for me, but I agree. He's a mix of tangible advice, but also I feel like I'm listening to a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
So I enjoy the inner monologue while he's figuring out what to do with his kid.
Yep.
I will say I am not quite there yet on my own parenting style.
Yeah.
But working towards some of his advice. And
it's a journey.
It is a journey, it's a journey with a lot of battles, but we'll get through them.
Yep, absolutely. So where do you want to start?
This week alone, I have 2 strong-willed child stories.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you and get your take on, is this normal? What's the best way to break this? I just kind of want to hear your reactions.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. So the first one is bedtime. Bedtime is a nightmare in my house. We are working on getting our strong-willed child to go to bed on his own without someone laying with him.
Yeah.
It is not happening consistently, but it's gotten better. But it frankly depends on my own energy levels too. And my husband has been traveling all week. So Wednesday night, I just wanted to go to bed. So I laid down with him, fully knowing I'll probably fall asleep in your bed, and then I'll move myself to my own bed when I wake up. I do that. I wake up, and I have this at-home manicure company, and I had just done my nails while they were eating dinner because I had an event the next day.
Oh, gosh.
And I kid you not, every single nail had been pulled off of my hand and was just chaotically in his bed. 2 were sticking in his hair. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you're a terror. Like, you not only stayed up after I fell asleep, but you picked something that you know would make me mad.
Yeah.
Even when I can't get mad because I'm asleep.
Yep.
And so I woke up the next day and he saunters down with his plan. And the first thing he says was, the leprechaun was here last night, Mom. He wanted your manicure. And I was like,
the leprechaun.
The leprechaun. In our
creative.
In our house, the leprechaun is usually the naughty one. Yeah. It's kind of an alter ego. That one, like I said, I was asleep. I thought it was insane. But do you think that's an example of just like pushing boundaries, or just not wanting to go to sleep and finding something to do? Or what's going on in that little brain?
I think it depends. Like, you could have a kid that's like doing something like that out of spite and like revenge, you know? But I think a lot of times, these kids are like not really thinking about what they're doing. They're just doing it, you know? So they're not thinking like, what are the potential consequences? Is my mom going to be mad? You know, like they're just kind of like doing whatever pops in their brain because they're impulsive, you know?
Yes.
And it's hard. Like if a kid does something impulsively because they don't have impulse control because of the way that their brain is formed and where they are developmentally, it's really hard to like punish them for that, you know, because they can't control it. It's just like when you have a kid who has zero impulse control and like, you know, something happens that they don't like. And so they have this like big emotional reaction, you know, and like a lot of therapists will like try to teach them coping skills. And it's like, well, if you have zero impulse control, then you can't slow down long enough to implement the coping skills or like think through the consequences. So I think you have to like know your kid and know like, was this coming from like, is he pissed at me and he's like trying to seek revenge and be spiteful, or was he just like doing something impulsive and not thinking through it, you know?
Yes. I don't think, well, he may have been a little pissed that I was no longer awake to play with him.
Yeah.
But I actually think it's more what you were alluding to, where he was just bored and started doing something and then got some satisfaction out of peeling it off.
Yeah.
Frankly, I get satisfaction.
Absolutely.
Putting it on and peeling it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, that was like, in the grand scheme of things, pretty innocuous.
Yeah.
But man, okay, so this morning, and this is one where the tools, I don't know what they are. Yeah. But he wakes up 6 a.m., if I'm lucky, 6:18. So he's up at 6 a.m. I take a shower and we are eating breakfast. And I said, okay, I'm going to go dry my hair. And he said, no, I don't want you to dry your hair. I want to play now. And I said, well, I'm going to dry my hair first and then we can play. You can go find something to play with. So I walk into the bathroom, I plug in my hair dryer, I'm drying my hair, head over. All of a sudden, he has climbed onto my bathroom counter and unplugged the hair dryer. And I look at him and I say, I'm going to plug this back in and finish drying my hair and then we can play, which I do. And I kind of shimmy my body so he can't yank it out again. I'm drying my hair and he just goes into one of his rages and bites me, which I was so mad about. But that's where what ended up happening was I turned off the hair dryer, took him to a different room, got him set up with a show, and then sat there for a few minutes and then went back and dried my hair and he didn't bother me at all. Yeah. Because I do feel like he has remorse and he knows once he's done something wrong, but I don't know how to stop the I'm pissed, I'm going to bite you. And I feel like he doesn't bite at school, but he has hit our babysitters before and I always try to prepare them. But 2 questions. One is, what the heck do you do in that situation? What can you do differently to help them? And then the second is, how do you explain what seems like a bad kid to people who are coming in to help you care for them?
Yeah. Ooh, okay. So I think like as far as what to do in this situation, there's sometimes where like you just gotta fucking get ready in the morning and like you're on a time crunch and you just like have to get ready and go and like you don't have an option to sit and play for 30 minutes. And so like sometimes you just don't have time to like have this long drawn out interaction with your kid that's like repairing, Yeah. So sometimes you just have to like do exactly what you did and said like I have 20 minutes to get ready. I need to blow dry my hair. I would love to play with you right now, but I can't do that. And so I'm plugging my dryer in. You're going to sit and watch a show. And then tonight you and I are going to play for 20 minutes by ourselves, Yeah. And if you freak out, I like how, going back to Kirk Martin, I really like how like he talks about repairing, that you're gonna, as a parent, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna blow up at your kid. You're gonna yell at them. You're gonna get aggravated with them. You're gonna say something you regret, right? But the key is going back afterwards and saying like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I was upset because I was in a rush. Like, can we, go play with your favorite toy this afternoon or whatever it is, whatever way you want to repair.
It's like acknowledging that you make mistakes too and showing them how to come back from them.
Right. But like part of this is showing kids that like, not everything is on their timeline, sometimes there is an external timeline that we're all on and like, we just have to like make it happen, and it's just not a good time to play. So I think you just have to like set that boundary and expect if you have a strong-willed kid that they're probably going to have a big reaction to that and it's not going to be a pleasant one. And then you just like, figure out how to help them correct after it, and like saying something really simple, like we don't bite, period. No emotion about it. We don't bite.
Sometimes I feel like if we go into this explanation and like, what are you feeling? He's just like, blah, 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 this is boring. Can we play now? Like, just totally, you can tell on his face, he's just waiting for the words to stop.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not like he doesn't know that it's wrong. Like, you don't have to like teach him in that moment that biting is wrong. Like he already knows that, right? That's not the issue. The issue is that he has no impulse control. Right. So like, you just have to like maintain that boundary of like, we don't bite, period. There's no emotion about it. I'm not going to shame you about it. We're not going to have this lecture so that I feel better. Like I've imparted wisdom on you and you feel ashamed. It's like, no, I set the boundary. You go over there. I'm going over here. We're going to get ready to go. And then we're leaving.
Yeah. I like that. Like just take the emotion out of it.
Yeah. Which is hard. I mean, I struggle with it all the time. And I have to constantly remind myself, just like, keep it short and sweet, no emotion.
Yeah. No, you actually, one of your past episodes I listened to, and it was like, you don't have to like that this is happening, but it's happening. And I used it that afternoon when he was not wanting to leave somewhere, but we had to leave. And it was so liberating.
Yeah.
He was still screaming, but I was like, I've acknowledged it. You don't like it. It's still happening. Let's go. And then he ended up like chasing after me and leaving while sobbing, but leaving.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I think we focus so much on trying to like prevent these behaviors when like you can't always prevent them, you know? It's like, what do you do when they happen? You can try to minimize them or make them less likely, but like you're not going to prevent them 100% of the time. You're not. And if you can just like go into it knowing like, when I set this limit, my kid's probably going to freak out. And I know that. And I'm going to mentally prepare for it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so I feel like I have two opposite kids.
Yeah.
And I stand by they came out of the womb this way.
Yep.
One came out silent. We thought something was wrong. Super chill. If I say no, he sobs. It is like very easy to parent.
Yeah.
The other one came out freaking screaming. So pissed. Refused to eat. Had to go to the ICU. Didn't sleep through the night until he was 8 months. Just like, because sometimes I wonder, am I coddling and making him feel like he can do whatever he wants? Or is my husband being so authoritative that he's rebelling? But then I look, we have two kids and they're completely different. Yep. So what is it in their brain that is it wiring? And are there things that we can do as parents to change it or mold it to be beneficial?
Yeah. Okay. So there's something called temperament. Have you heard of temperament?
Yes.
Okay. So like babies are born with a certain temperament, right? So I can't remember all of them, but there's like easygoing. There's one who, there's like difficult. There's slow to warm up. There's a few different ones. Okay. And it's basically like the precursors to a personality type. Okay. So clearly we are hardwired to be a certain way. Okay. You come out the womb with hardwiring to be a certain way. All right. And then, you know, when a kid like that, okay, so like an easygoing kid, when they interact with the world, they're generally going to get like 99% positive feedback, right? Mm-hmm. Like adults are going to like them. Adults are going to respond positively to them. They're going to get lots of affection and lots of praise. And so they are having a lot of like very positive social experiences. Okay. Mm-hmm. And like you as a parent are very laid back with them. And like, you're probably very calm when you set limits and boundaries. Right. Okay. And then if you have a kid who's born difficult, okay, or born to push boundaries and be like overactive, all right, they're going to go out in the world and get probably a lot more negative interactions with the world. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because like we as adults don't want a kid, you know, being super hyper all the time. And we don't want a kid who's telling us no, or like asking us why a million times, you know, like it makes us uncomfortable or aggravates us. And so then we are interacting not as positively with that child. Okay. And so if you are constantly getting negative interactions and like negative feedback from the world, then you're going to like it, that molds your personality in a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. So like you're going to become more like defiant and oppositional and like maybe a little bit of like F it attitude. Like what's the point? What's the point of me trying if like all I get is negative feedback? Like I get really aggravated because I am a parent of a strong-willed child. Okay. So I get really aggravated when people assume that it's like, oh, your kid is like that because of your parenting, right? Because you and I both have kids who are the complete opposite. I have two other kids who are the complete opposite and are like the most easygoing, laid back children. Okay. So I'm like, yes, do I parent my strong-willed child differently? Yes. But it is because of like the way that the world interacts with his hardwiring, right? And like it's not just me, it's other adults interact with him in that way too, right? Like that's how he gets people interact with him at school. You know, that's how like every summer camp he goes to, that's how they interact with him. And it's really because we as adults, like a lot of adults don't like a kid like that. Like they don't like a kid who's, you know, difficult and not fitting into the box that they want them to fit into. Right. So yes, like it does change the way you parent, but that's not where it's originating from. It's originating from like, this is the way the kid is hardwired. And then like what I really like about, just going back to Kirk Martin again, what I like about him is that like he's trying to help parents like see the parts of that child that are going to be so beneficial for them as adults. You know, like you think about these kids and you're like, okay, every person in history who was like a trailblazer in some way or like a pioneer pushed a lot of buttons, pushed boundaries, didn't take no for an answer, right? Like in America, we value all of those things. Like we value like people who are really independent and entrepreneurial and like, you know, like push the limits and like, you know, carve a path for themselves. Like those are all things that we value in America, but then we don't like to see them in kids.
Yes. Yes. I think he said something like, your strong-willed child will have to try so many different tactics and techniques to live in the same world that your compliant child, that inevitably they will have more tools than you could ever imagine by the time they're ready to be in adulthood.
Yep. It's so true. And it's not that I'm saying like we're all valid in feeling like it's really difficult to raise these kids, because it is really difficult to raise these kids. But like that is an us problem as the adults. It's an us problem.
True.
You know, like no kid is born saying like, I want to be oppositional. I want to be defiant. I want to piss people off and make them not want to be around me. Like no kid like is born thinking like that. You know, they become like that because of the way that the world interacts with them.
Yeah. So I have another question about their brains.
Yeah.
So along with being defiant and taking no as a how much further can I push?
Yep.
I also see a lot of anxiety in him.
Yep.
And things like he will amaze me because he will know after going somewhere one time exactly how we got there, where we turned. And if he knows we're going back to that place and I go a different way, he will get very upset. This is the wrong way. This is the wrong way. Turn around. You have to go this way. And I think that he is anxious that not what he expects.
Yep.
I tend to go different ways, not to fuck with him. Sorry if I can't say that.
But to like challenge.
But just like, I have this intuition that his brain needs that so that he can see on the other side, look, we got to the same place and I didn't have to turn around. But I just do that out of my sense that that's a good thing.
Yes.
I'm curious. So that was a long-winded way of saying, is it common for strong-willed kids to be anxious?
Yeah.
And should you push their anxiety so that they can overcome it? Or how do you address that?
Yeah. So I would say that it's like strong-willed kids generally have something going on underneath, whether it's anxiety or it's like an overactive brain or it's a body that like doesn't want to be still. Or it's like, you know, a kid that's just like naturally more irritable. There's something going on underneath that. Okay. When it comes to anxiety, and this is true for kids, strong-willed kids who have anxiety, but also just kids in general who have anxiety. Okay. There is something that this kind of like trap that some parents can fall into called accommodation. Okay. So like if you have a really anxious kid who's like really slow to warm up and they're like afraid to try new things or afraid to have, you know, transitions or like unexpected interruptions in their routine, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of parents will end up accommodating that anxiety by like kind of like bubble wrapping the kid, right? So it's like they keep everything exactly the same. And I'm not saying parents are doing anything wrong. Like we're all trying to survive. This is just like a survival tactic that parents develop,
right.
you know? And it's like, or they like make sure that the kid has like, you know, the perfect socks every single time that have the seam exactly the way they want it. Or like they make sure that like the kid is only eating these foods so they don't freak out, you know? And the problem is that like the more that we accommodate as parents, the more that kids' anxiety grows. So like you're doing the right thing by gently pushing that comfort level so that he has to adapt, you know, and like be okay with change and unexpected things.
Yeah. Although the food, I am so guilty of that.
Well, you're not going to be perfect.
No,
you know?
I mean, I got that grilled cheese exactly into fours with no cheese coming out of the sides. And
I mean, we all do, like I did something this morning, you know, where it's like, I'm accommodating, like we all do this in some way. Like you're not going to be perfect. Like my strong-willed child, you know, like he had, I think it was like pancake or French toast and fruit. And like, if the syrup from the French toast touches the fruit, he is freaking out. And so I like catch myself like making sure the fruit is not touching the syrup and like rinsing the one. And then all of a sudden, like, what am I doing? Like he can lick the syrup off. It's syrup. Like everybody likes syrup, you know?
It's not
so like we all do this. We all do this. And it's just a matter of like, it's like picking your battles because you can't battle everything. You just can't, or you won't survive. And then it's like being aware when you're doing it and then trying to be like, oh, okay, is there some way that I can not accommodate my child so that he can learn to adapt a little bit more?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that though. It's never going to be all one way or the other.
No. I mean, it's impossible. We're human.
It's true. Okay.
Any other questions, stories?
I have a funny one we can end on.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Okay. So setting a boundary. No snacks before dinner. Wait for your food to be ready. I walk away, I come back. He has a freaking popsicle that he's pulled out of the freezer and opened, and he's licking it.
Yep.
And I'm like, hello? Snack in your hand. And he looks back at me and he goes, this is a drink. It melts into a liquid. So it's not a snack.
Which, like, excellent point. Excellent.
I know.
Point.
And I'm not a very quick thinker. I'm much more of a, let me go right about that. And then I'll come up with my comeback.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like, have the freaking popsicle.
Yeah.
But it's just, goes to show like
okay, so I'm gonna like go back to Kirk Martin again. There was an episode where he talked about this where like sometimes these kids have really good arguments that you're like, I can't even argue with that. Like that is a legit argument that like he is right, you're right. Like, and so I think it's okay to admit that and be like, man, like that is a good argument. You are 100% right that is a liquid frozen into a popsicle. But you know what? We're going to count popsicles as a snack and we're going to put that back in the freezer. And as soon as you're done with dinner, you get that popsicle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like I do find that if I'm able to laugh in the moment, but maintain some sort of semblance of boundaries, it is the best way. But
yeah. Cause then they can kind of laugh with you and be like, yeah, you know, I'm acting like a little asshole. You're right, Mom. You know?
Yeah. He knows. He knows.
So funny. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on, Sarah. That was fun.
I can't wait for Kirk to actually knowledge drop on us. But
it's going to be so amazing. I cannot wait. Like, I'm going to be so starstruck. Okay, well, tell everybody where they can find you. Plug your business.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So when I'm not fighting with strong-willed child, I am selling manicures. It's called Livi Beauty, Livi beauty.com. And it is a clean, non-toxic at-home gel manicure that applies like a sticker, but results in a real salon quality manicure.
So beautiful.
I'm terrible at DIY and I can do it. And it's just one of the small things that as a working mom of toddlers, I was always stressed about getting to the salon.
Yep.
And often it would be so chipped that it would look worse for more time than it looked good.
Yep.
And then I would just go bare, but I like talking with my hands. So
yeah.
It's a very easy plug for me because it's genuinely made such a difference for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so livibeauty.com, 20% off for all of our Little Brain campaign listeners. Use code BRAIN.
Okay, code BRAIN, livibeauty.com. All right. Well, thanks, Sarah. Appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Little Brain Campaign podcast. If you enjoyed our conversation, give us a follow on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Please take a moment to leave a review while you're still thinking about it. It really helps grow the podcast, and I love hearing from our listeners. See you next time.